Guys, this is Davey T. I'm doing this little video today about 22LR droppage from 50 yards to 75 yards to 100 yards. Now, we all kind of got this idea when we look on the apps and everything that you can see your mil dots. Now, I was using night vision last night. I was using the Pulsar Ultra N450. Anybody that's following me on Instagram or whatever else, they'll see that it's on my 22LR right now. Freshly painted 22LR, but it's still on my 22LR. Now, it's often good. You can set profiles on the Pulsar Ultra in 450. I haven't set up the profiles. I was doing a little bit of difference between the 17 HMR and the 22LR, and I set up a couple of profiles in regards to that. But last night I got bored. I was doing a bit of a security shift on one of the properties, and I found a nice field that I can just go in and do a little bit of distance checking. Now, it's always good to learn what your droppage is going to be when it comes to the smaller calibers. You know, your bigger centerfire calibers, you tend to be good out to 200 no matter what, and a lot of guys, well, they're quite happy just to shoot straight out to 200, so you're not really worrying about dialing in that. But when you're using night vision, you can't dial in because it's digital, especially digital night vision or thermal. You can't dial in, so you got to kind of work out in your brain where you're sitting at. And if you zoom in with the digital night vision, it makes it even harder to work out what your drop's going to be. So if you kind of roughly know your distances, which rangefinders are good for that. Laser rangefinders, any of the night visions that I've got that built in is perfect for that. Unfortunately, mine hasn't, so luckily I can kind of gauge distance quite well at night. So, as I said, I did 50 yards, and I'm just going to show you what the difference is in regards to the drop between 50 and 75 and 75 and 100, and I think you'd be quite surprised. The 22LRs, I'm using CZ455 with the Pulsar Ultra N450 on top. I've got a SAC moderator. It's just a cheap ass £25 moderator. Nothing special about the rifle. Did a bit of trigger adjustment, a wee bit. That kind of helps a bit with the accuracy, but I never changed the trigger, just reduced it. I'm firing 40 grain CCI Subsonics, so again, nothing special. I haven't, that's the one that kind of groups good, and as you've seen from any of my tests, it usually shoots around the 1050 FPS mark, with sometimes a little lower, sometimes a little higher, but it's very close to that supersonic scale anyway. It's quite high up in regards to subsonics. So anyway, we'll move round to the target board. I used well, I'll tell you what length it is. I used a 30-inch plank of wood, and I put paper down it, as you'll see when I turn round, and I was just shooting. All I wanted to see what was going to happen between in regards to distance, and I think you'd be quite surprised. So here, we'll shift around here. Yep. So try and zoom out slightly. There we go. So there's the board there. So I was obviously aiming for the black tape, and I did put a rushed first shot into the black tape just to make sure it was hitting the black tape, and that is where I was. That's where I hit. I pulled the shot. I'm sure I pulled the shot anyway. So as you see, I've got a bit of measuring tape here. The tape is only about 1.5 inches in size. So if we take that from the center tape and we just run, here's the center tape. So we're just under an in between, I would say about an inch, just under 1.5 inches, between 1.5 inches and 1.25 inches from the centre for the 75 yards. Now, we are about 6.5 inches for the 100 yards. So that is a big drop. Really is a big drop. So kind of you got to think about that when you're, shift back to me. So as I said, it's not definitive. It just gives me an idea. What I could do now with the Pulsar Ultra M450, because you can get the M455, but the M450s, which I've got, what I could do now is I could set up profiles on that now. I put a bit of tape and set it up so I could zero at 75 yards, and then put another bit of tape on 100 yards, and that will set me up. And if I wanted to go further, probably drop another 10 inches maybe, and take it to 150 yards. But I'm happy with knowing what my what my zero is going to be at 100 yards, and that's what I'll do now. What I'll do is I'll set up the profile on the Pulsar Ultra for the 22LR. I did see a fox last night while I was doing this, and when, do you know, you're so tempted when you see it 150, 200 yards. Now, when I actually went to check what the distance was before it had winded me, when I got my last chance of a shot, it was 220 yards. There was literally no way I was going to give enough holdover to feel safe on taking that shot. So I just didn't bother. If I had the 243 with me, and it was a safer property to use the bigger rifle, because that property is only good up to about 22LR. Maybe the 17 HMR, I maybe would have put it as a push. But there's not very many backstops and stuff like that, and I really didn't want to risk using the big rifle down on that property last night on a fox cub, because that's technically what it was. It was one of this year's foxes. So anyway, I thought just a little bit of an interesting video. Looking to get some more reviews started out soon, so a bit of update on that. We've started the stalking. I've had a few stags this week already, a few roe deer, which is quite good. I think we're up into double figures anyway in regards to that. I've got a guest booked for some roebuck stalking on the 17th, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this COVID-19 stuff doesn't really cause any problems with that. And then I've got all my guests come August and September, so there will be plenty more footage coming along the way. If you want any more 22LR stuff and small stuff, I'll put some videos up of bunnies and some of the night vision work that I'm doing. But I thought maybe you would be interested in this kind of knowing what your droppage is. But that's it. Really, that is it. So thank you for subscribing. We've hit over the 1,000 subscribers mark, which is great. I'm thinking of a wee competition or something that I can do for you guys. Hopefully we could sort something out. But until then, I'll catch you in a bit. Bye.